Ken Burrows is wide left. Billy Parks is to the right. Oh, what a hit that was. John Mendenhall. When he puts you down, he really gets it. Built like a low-slung power, and when he comes in low on you, I mean, you're hit.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. I want to do a video showing how our new weapons that we have coming in can help Daniel Jones's interception rate go down. Now, there's many factors in the interceptions. You know, sometimes it's you can maybe in a way maybe blame the offensive line. Sometimes you obviously have to blame the quarterback. Sometimes you gotta blame the wide receiver. Sometimes you gotta spread the love around. Like for instance, sometimes Daniel Jones just needs some help. Okay. Last year, right, and in one respect, I've been looking through some of these numbers, and in a small way, I feel almost bad for Carson Wentz. I mean, I look at some of his numbers, the amount of times he got sacked last year, and, a lot of it was on him, but, not all of it. But the drop percentage of balls that got thrown to a receiver that should have been caught that were dropped. Carson Wentz was number one. All right, so he didn't get much love from his wide receivers. He was number one. His drop percentage was 10.7%. So basically, one out of every 10 balls that he threw to a wide receiver that should have been caught was dropped. 1 out of every 10. Whew. Daniel Jones was number two. Not getting the love from his wide receivers. He was number two at 9.4%. Okay. So that's the not getting the love from your wide receivers. And of course, then there's not getting the love from your offensive linemen. Now, this is from Pro Football Focus. I was just looking at some numbers and all, and there were quarterbacks that had higher pressure rate. But I was looking at guys like Daniel Jones and all who were in there almost all the time, who threw hundreds of pass attempts. There were some guys that had like 50 pass attempts, 70 pass attempts that maybe had a higher pressure rate. But I was going for, pretty much quarterbacks who were in there almost all the time. Okay, so Daniel Jones once again came in at number two. Now, according to Pro Football Focus, they have this stat called DPR, which basically is total pressures of any kind from the defense, whether it's a hit, a pressure, a sack, a knock, whatever. Okay. Sam Darnold was number one, all right? And, he was at 42%, okay? Pressure of any kind. Daniel Jones was number two. 40% of the time, he had pressure from, any type of pressure, whether it was, sack, a hit, a hurry, whatever, 40% of the time. Now, there's a little theme here, okay? What does Carson Wentz of the Eagles, Sam Darnold of the Jets, and Daniel Jones of the Giants all have in common? All losing records. None of them made the playoffs. Giants had the best record of all at 6-10. Okay? So that's not getting much love from your offensive line. And sometimes then there's just, things that just happen, Daniel Jones once again led the league in tipped interception, meaning the ball went to a wide receiver, Evan Ingram. So I had something stuck in my throat. Ball was thrown to a wide receiver, tight end, whoever, off their hands directly into the hands of a defensive player. Now, he was tied for first, right? Derek Carr had 2, Daniel Jones had 2, Russell Wilson had 2. Then sometimes, you just got to blame the quarterback. Nothing. I can't stand it. I hate watching the highlight of it. The opening day game against the Steelers. I was just watching it. It just still pisses me off. The 19th play of the drive. Now, they had a hard time moving against the Pittsburgh Steelers that night, right? But they're down to the 4-yard line. It's 3 minutes, 25 seconds left to go in the third quarter. It's 2nd and 3. They're down by 6 points. If they get in the end zone, they score a touchdown, they take the lead with a little over 3 minutes left to go. So they're down to the 4-yard line. Daniel Jones gets the ball, and he rolls out to the left, and he's rolling, and you just see Bud Dupree just running, coming after Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is just looking. Bud Dupree's just running, and Daniel Jones just standing there, and you just know it's going to happen. You know, Daniel Jones like yes, Bud Dupree, it's on. Ball was flying in the air, and it's like, yeah, that's going to be intercepted. And when Cameron Hayward finally comes down with it around the half-yard line, if you look, stop the picture right there. He's got the ball like right about here. You look, there's 5 Pittsburgh Steelers standing right there. I mean, you gotta get rid of that ball. You gotta do something. You can't do that. Throw the ball like 3 yards over, 2 yards over every one. You know, all the Giants were basically standing kind of like in the back of the end zone. And when the ball got tipped, and all the Steelers were kind of like in the front, you know, and they got picked off. Throw the ball at the feet of somebody. You know, don't get the ground anywhere. But you gotta get rid of the ball. I mean, you know, sometimes it's not his fault. Sometimes it is his fault. You know, it is what it is. But you know, God, you gotta get points there. Well, which brings me to my next point with his interception rate, okay, which is the guys that he brought in, that you know, the Giants brought in, Dave Gettleman and all, which brings in like Kyle Rudolph, Kenny Golladay, and Kadarius Toney. And what this also kind of means for Darius Slayton as well is the what they call it, is Pro Football Focus. I'm just checking out a bunch of numbers with them. Is the career contested catch win rate. Okay, so when there's a ball, it's not like in a lot of times in college where like you look at Alabama and you see DeVonta Smith, like in a championship game, and every time they throw him the ball, he's like 7 yards beyond everybody, or there's nobody within like 5 yards of him. That's not like that all the time in the NFL. Sometimes you gotta throw a guy open. Sometimes you just got to chuck it up there, like a back shoulder. I mean, there's a cornerback covering the guy, the wide receiver right on him, but you're throwing the back shoulder, so the wide receiver's running and he knows the ball's coming, the cornerback don't, and then he stops, boom, catches it, Or sometimes you just got to throw it up and let the guy go grab the ball. That's the way it is in the NFL. That's the life of the NFL. It's not like, I'll do a 5 and out and I'll be wide. No, that's not how it happens, all right? So sometimes, you got to throw the ball, and the guy's it's a contested catch, and you got to come down with the ball. Well, last year, Evan Ingram's contested catch rate last year was 19%. Absolutely pathetic. He was also the target. There were 6 of Daniel Jones' interceptions that were thrown toward him. He had 21 catches, 21 contested passes last year. He caught 4 of them for 19%. 2018, he had 10 contested catches. He caught 2 of them for 20%. Absolutely pathetic. And not only that, all right, if we can go back to his drops, all right, last year he had 8 drops. 2017, okay, he had 11 drops. His drop rate percentage was 14.7% in 2017. His drop rate percentage for his whole career is 10.4%. Absolutely pathetic. But, which brings me to my the guys that we just brought in. Kyle Rudolph, his drop rate is 4.1% for his entire career. His contested catch win rate for his career is 51.9%. 51.9. Evan Ingram last year was 19. Kyle Rudolph's only been in 10 years has been on, had 12 interceptions of balls being thrown in his direction. He had no interceptions thrown his way in the last 2 years. Evan Ingram had 6 last year. Kenny Golladay, his contested catch win rate for his career is 60.2%. His contested catch win rate last year was 76.9%. 77% last year. Evan Ingram last year, 19%. In Kenny Galladay's 4-year career, he's had 13 drops. Evan Ingram had 11 drops in 2017. Absolutely pathetic. Then it brings it to Kadarius Toney. Obviously, these are all, NCAA numbers, okay? But his contested catch win rate in college is 50%, all right? But what I love about my man is in college, he only had 3 drops. His drop rate percentage is 2.4%. Basically, he's had 3 drops. If he gets his hands on the ball, he's catching it. 2.4%. Evan Ingram's for his career is 10.4%. Evan Ingram's drop rate is over 4 times what Kadarius Toney's is. Absolutely pathetic. Now, then also what this means for Darius Slayton. Now, Darius Slayton, you guys, a 5th round pick. He's done a really good job for a 5th round pick. Last year also, I don't know how many times I looked in the, Darius Slayton missed practice. Darius Slayton was limited in practice. Darius Slayton maybe had a bad game, but he had a problem with his foot. I understand. If you're on the field, there's no excuses or nothing. If you're a wide receiver and you got a problem with your foot, you got some problems. You also injured his shoulder as well too, but he had a problem with his foot. That's going to cause him some problems. No point in hand here. Okay. His contested catch win rate, okay, in his first season was 48% when he was healthy. Last year, when he wasn't healthy, his win rate was 31.8%. Basically, it plummeted 16% because he was hurt. But also, what does this mean? Well, his win rate was like 48% one year, and almost 32% the next. But that a lot of times was going up against the number 1 corner of the other team. Now we got Kenny Golladay in here. Kenny Golladay is going to attract that number 1 corner. So the number 2 corner, basically, if you want to look at it like us last year, we're going to have Isaac Yiadom covering Darius Slayton. How do you like those odds? Not too bad now, huh? All right. Would you rather have, if the Giants were facing the Giants, right? Darius Slayton goes out there and maybe gets the number 1 corner. Well, that would be James Bradberry. How do you think Darius Slayton's going to do? With a bad foot. Not too good. If Darius Slayton's being covered by Isaac Yiadom, right? How do you think he's going to do? Even with a bad foot. Do better than he do if he was going against James Bradberry. So, Kenny Golladay is therefore going to make Darius Slayton better. Now, how much? Who knows? But he's going to be covered by somebody who's not quite as good. So, that's got to help. Then also, if you have, then we got Saquon coming back. Everybody's going to be helping everybody, But just to show that some of the guys that we brought in, how they can help everybody, including Daniel Jones' drop rate, but also Daniel Jones' interception rate should come down. And if we don't wind up re-signing Evan Ingram, that could really, really help, Daniel Jones and his interception rate. But I just want to show you. I mean, sometimes it's the wide receivers, sometimes the offensive line, sometimes it's the quarterback. As Daniel Jones, we know Daniel Jones can do some bad plays, but it's not always his fault. And with the new weapons that we had brought in, his numbers should definitely get a little bit better this year. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!